talagang downhearted ako because I expected the military to perform. Pagkakala ko makatulong ako sa bayan sa Pilipinas. Kaya ko kayo kinuha, kaya ko kayo pinatawag kasi akala ko makatulong kayo. Kasi it involved a general sa ano. Sabi ko, alam mo, hindi talaga ako mamamatay kung hindi ako presidente. Kung tumindig lang ang Air Force Head, ang Navy, Army, pati Police, kung tumindig kayo ngayon, unless ako pagka-mayor. If we cannot work together with just by medicines, then maybe we cannot to work together on bigger things. So what's the point? Kasi ba kayo na, hindi naman nahiya sarili ninyo. Many things that I did for the armed forces. Ayoko na lang baka sabihin na hindi ko naman property, hindi ko naman pera. Pero mas mabuti magkaintindihan tayo.
The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The Quezon City LGU has pledged its full support to community pantries in the city. This after the Maginhawa Community Pantry halted operations today as its organizers started receiving threats and are being red tagged on social media. In a statement, QC Mayor Belmonte said the LGU's Task Force Disciplina and other barangay leaders are only supposed to help remind the public about minimum health standards and to assist in controlling any crowds that may form. Belmonte also said that she has reached out to Maginhawa Community Pantry's lead organizer, Ana Patricia Non, to discuss concerns about her safety and security. The Quezon City Mayor also requested police authorities to investigate the matter. Meanwhile, the DILG has denied ordering the PNP to probe community pantries around the country. Secretary Ed Año says since this is a purely voluntary and private initiative, authorities must not interfere, except only to ensure that minimum health protocols are observed. Interior Undersecretary Martin Dino clarified to One News that community pantry organizers no longer need to secure permits for their initiative, but they are urged to coordinate with their respective barangays to ensure that health protocols are strictly implemented. The Community Pantry Initiative has received high praise for helping Filipinos who are struggling to put food on their tables during this health crisis. But many organizers are now getting tagged as communists, while some report police harassment. How did it come to this? Let's find out in this report from Marian Enriquez.
Even at past 5 in the afternoon, people still lined up at this community pantry by Tulong Obrero. Organized by Kilusang Mayo Uno, Piston, and other labor groups, the stall hands out a kilo of rice, canned goods, and noodles. This is just one of several community pantries which have sprouted in the country ever since a humble effort started in Maginhawa, Quezon City last week. But in this pantry, beneficiaries are given handouts and are asked if they are willing to sign a petition for a 10,000 peso ayuda. Because of this, some netizens red-tagged the groups involved in the initiative.
Masakit po sa amin yung paratang na yon dahil ang layunin naman po talaga namin ay para makatulong, lalong-lalo na po doon sa mga manggagawang nawalan ng trabaho at yung mga driver na nawalan ng pasada.
They denounce claims that they are only using this opportunity to recruit members and influence beneficiaries. Another progressive group, Anak Pawis, has a community pantry along CP Garcia Avenue in Quezon City in collaboration with Pamalakaya. They also donated hot meals to the Maginhawa Community Pantry. Anak Pawis President Ariel Casilao also decried the red tagging.
Kumalat ito dahil nakita yung effectivity na wala tayong maasahan sa gobyernong ito. Hindi sapat ang isang libong ayudang.
Bayan Muna Representative Ferdinand Gaite lamented how other Filipinos can doubt the motives of those only helping out. For Gaite, the movement exposes the government's incompetence.
Ito na nga naging solusyon, yung community pantry, which this government or their allies are vilifying as, again, quote-unquote, communist infiltrated activity.
However, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque claimed the rise of community pantries is not a condemnation of the government's pandemic response.
It's part of our psyche to help one another. It simply shows the best in us during the worst of times.
But Roque also acknowledged the slow pace of aid distribution.
Sa panahon po kasi ng pandemya, hindi natin maiiwasan na talagang mag-ingat dahil baka mamaya mabigay nga yung ayuda, magkaroon naman ng COVID yung mga taong bayan.
For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
The city government of Manila, together with the IATF, led the inspection and groundbreaking of the Manila COVID-19 Field Hospital at the Burnham Green in Rizal Park. To give us the latest details on this, we have JC Cosico joining us live from Rizal Park in Manila. JC, could you tell us the total bed capacity for this COVID field hospital and how long construction will take?
Charles, the Manila COVID-19 Field Hospital has a over 300 bed capacity for mild to moderate COVID-19 patients, and today is actually the first day of the construction, which will last or be completed within 60 days. Charles.
All right, could you explain the difference between this COVID field hospital and a regular hospital?
Charles, you know what? This Manila COVID-19 Field Hospital will just be a temporary amid the rise in COVID-19 cases, just like what authorities has already built at the Quezon Institute. Charles.
Will testing and other treatment be free for residents?
Charles, we asked this question to the Manila PAO, and they said that once construction is finished and operations are ongoing, treatment in the Manila COVID-19 hospital will be free of charge.
All right, that is great news. Could you tell us how many healthcare professionals are scheduled to be stationed at this field hospital?
Charles, Manila Mayor Isko Moreno said that around 200 frontliners, including, of course, mostly medical frontliners, are expected to run this facility. Now, these will come from the Manila Health Department, and other personnel will be coming from the Health Department. Charles.
All right, do we have any other noteworthy points during the event?
Charles, testing czar Vince Steason said that they are racing against time in the construction of more isolation facilities. Again, amid the rising number of COVID-19 cases, they are set to open this coming Friday additional 300 beds at the Eva Macapagal quarantine site. And also, vaccine Zorcolito Galvez said that the country has so far vaccinated around 1.5 billion individuals, mostly are health workers. Charles.
Thanks for that, JC. That was JC Cosico reporting live from the city of Manila. DOST Undersecretary Rowena Guevara says the Philippines may be able to develop its own vaccines in the future. In an interview with One News's Agenda, Guevara admits there is a lack of vaccine development research in the country, which is why we have yet to produce our own vaccines, even for common diseases. She said the agency will try to remedy this while bringing in more researchers to work on the Virology Science and Tech Institute of the Philippines.
Yung timeline na tinitingnan namin, iba-iba kasi yung timeline ng mga companies, ano. Tapos pati, we are waiting for the clinical trials to be finished for some of these vaccine companies. We imagine that best case scenario, by the end of 2022, we will have local manufacturing of a COVID-19 vaccine.
Apart from making use of their 283 million peso budget from the DBM, Guevara says DOST is looking to bring in more local and foreign virologists to do R&D on local vaccines.
Doon sa VIP, maggagamit tayo ng ating Balik Scientist program para magdala dito ng mga virologists. Para sa plants and animals, okay tayo eh. Yung sa humans, ang medyo kulang tayo ng mga virologists. Bukod dyan, meron tayong mga bilateral partners na pwede tayong makipag-partner doon sa kanilang R&D Institute.
The CEO of workplace messaging app Slack believes the world will never go back to a 9-to-5 office setup. What then will be the future of work? What then will be the future of work post-pandemic? Let's hear it straight from Slack CEO Stuart Butterfield on Bloomberg Technology.
When we talk about what's going to be different in the future, are we talking about different from today, or are we talking about different from February 2020? And I think most people tend to go back to 13, 14 months ago and imagine what would be different from then, rather than thinking about where we are today. And if you think about it in that way, I think it's a totally different picture.
So your Future Forum research, you've got this think tank called Future Forum, which is focused on the future of work. You found that 9 out of 10 workers don't want to return to the office full time. What should we take away from that?
That people want flexibility. I mean, I think there's a huge mix of emotions, and a lot of that's driven by the fact that the pandemic is still ongoing and people are stressed about their health, and a lot of the regular kind of amenities of life have been taken away. You can't go to the restaurant, you can't get a massage, or to get your nails done, or when you imagine those things starting to change, I think people's emotional state starts to change. But many companies like ours have 30% of our employees, 3% plus, started post-pandemic. So many companies like us have hired a lot of people, have allowed people to move, and you can't unscramble that egg. But I think we also realized, despite the fact that we all thought it was impossible, productivity remained high over the course of this year for many organizations. And there's this real desire to get together with people. But that doesn't mean that we're going to be going back 9 to 5, and I don't think that's ever going to happen, honestly. I want the flexibility, and I think there's a lot of people who are in that position. While there's a lot of young people early in their career who want to get back to the office as part of their social life, there's a lot of people who have families and they like the lack of a commute. They like being able to spend a little bit more time with their kids. So people are all over the place, but the idea that we're going to count the number of days that we go back into the office each week, I think is wrong-headed. The real question is the extent to which organizations are digital first, because the fact that we managed to do this without our physical offices means that we're able to shift the ways in which people collaborate, the ways in which people communicate, the ways in which productivity actually happens. I don't think any CEO would trade software for offices, but we get to kind of welcome offices back into the mix of how we relate to one another and kind of the tool set that's available for us to get stuff done. Some organizations are going to be offering people, work 100% remote, and some people won't like that. Some people will want to have an office. Others are going to want the flexibility, and I think that everyone likes options. Options sell for money. So if you have the option, you have the ability to say, I have sick parents, I want to go back east for 3 months, or I want to live in Tahoe in January and February. If that's kind of considered a perk or one of the deciding factors in how people take their jobs, then I think that's going to decide it for us, regardless of what CEOs want.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.